Hi, Mrs. Ingbar. This is Alan with Y&L Landscape Company, and you and I spent a lot of time walking around your yard, discussing the issues and possible solutions, and this will just be a review for you. I've done some analysis, so some of my recommendations will zero in on here, and these videos help get everybody on the same page, so that's a good thing. So let's start walking through it, and then we'll talk about some solutions. Quickly, we'll walk through it. This is your backyard looking out from your house, and even though it's hard to tell, there's a couple sinkholes. There's one here and there's one here. You desire to have a flat yard. Um, if we were to pivot to the right a little bit, there's another area, really hard to tell from all these leaves. There's about a foot of leaves here. But there's a sinkhole here, and you know what they're from when they backfilled with tree stumps and things like that when they cleared your land to build the house 30 years ago. All of that's decomposed and settled. So my recommendation is we're going to bring some soil in. We're going to get that all level and stabilized, and grass seed planted on top, and get that fixed up for you. So that's the first thing. So as we move across, here we are still on the hill, looking down towards your patio area in the back, and again, there is a walkway that runs along here. It is made of pieces of flagstone, irregular flagstone. Water comes down this hill all the way along the hill, and it definitely pulls in this direction. Some of it pulls in other places, and it flows in this direction along the walkway. Um, so that's one issue that we want to deal with here. We're sort of pivoting to the left, and just there, the walkway is right between the tree and the house. You can't see it, but trust me, it's there, and the water runs in that direction as well. And then if we look at the next picture, this is an in-between picture, and I put this in here because we talked a lot about downspouts and the problems you can have with water coming out of downspouts, especially in a heavy rain. And you have had some water problems in your basement, so it's something that we definitely want to think about. In this particular case, you can see a section of this black corrugated pipe that is tied into this downspout here. Um, we don't know if it's working very well. We don't. We always assume black corrugated pipe is either decomposed or on its way to decomposing and becoming clogged. So this is about a 10-foot run here to give you a good pipe and get it in there. Not that big of a deal. I think it's always prudent just to fix what you can, because you know it's going to be bad eventually if it's not a big project. So that's what you have there. Um, Here's just looking at, I uncovered some of the flagstone. We can see the flagstone covered in moss here. There's another piece over here, and it just works its way right across from side to side. Here we are on the driveway, looking towards the walkway area. The walkway goes this way, and you got a lot of water that runs down this hill along the entire area there. Here's from farther back. So here we see the garage. Water does infiltrate into the garage, mostly on this side, some on this side. We've got a downspout here. We don't know the quality of it. We've got to get a lot of water pulling on this asphalt driveway. The asphalt's in pretty good condition. We really don't want to start messing with it and degrading it by the work that we do. Keep in mind also that even though you have gutter guards, you have water cascading over um, these gutters when it rains, and that's part of what's happening in here. Um, could be that they're clogged up top, but you do have gutter guards on them. Could be that it's clogged down here somewhere in the system, and the water's just backing right up and then spilling over. So we try not to make too many assumptions, but sometimes there's enough evidence to assume. So we try to deal with it, especially when it's cost effective. So let's move back here. We're also going to do something with this area. This is a hill here. This is a slight hill. It's hard to tell, but the water runs down this area onto the driveway. And if I pivot slightly to the right, we're still in the same area here, so it would go all the way to the end. We're going to be putting some drain in there. So this is the area to the left of the garage. Probably won't end up doing anything over here. There's no problem areas. So we probably will collect water and run some piping out utilizing a sump pump. And we have some flexibility on how we run that pipe. It's much smaller than 4-inch pipe. So we will probably kind of, oh, didn't mean to do that. We will probably kind of run it out here and then run it out to where we can, this actually slopes down. It's probably more, it's probably more accurate to say it's going to run this way and then kind of run down this way to a low point, and we'll daylight it down there. So let's get into the meat of it. I am proposing that we put channel drains in this area along here, right up against this concrete. We'll start the concrete for the channel drain. You get 4 inches of concrete, a 5-inch channel drain, and 4 more inches of concrete. We'll drop the grade down a little bit, so what happens was the water that runs in this direction from wherever it runs from, no matter where we are, will drop into the channel drain and go into the basin for the sump pump. So this is just looking at, this is the area as you come around the corner from the backyard, and there's a hump here. So we're going to grade this down. That's going to have to be graded down to achieve what we want to achieve. Let me go back here, and you can see from this perspective also. Oh, I did want to show you some examples of the channel drain. Here's the application, and this is just a mock-up, but you install the channel drain here, and then you can see it's in sections, and the water comes down and drops into it and then conveys out by a pipe. It's a great system. It's very effective. It tends not to clog. It is very easy to clean it out and perform maintenance on it. Here's a view of it without, it's set in the trench, but the concrete is not set in there yet. So you can see that it gets set in stone or concrete, and then it gets finished on top. And we will be saw cutting along, so we'll have a nice straight cut in the concrete. You will see a transition, or actually be cutting the asphalt and going up against the concrete. So you will see a transition, but it will be nice and neat. Here's a finished product where the concrete has been put on. Now this is about twice as wide as what you'll be seeing at your house. But still the same, it is a channel drain. We also, I don't, it's hard to depict this, but we are putting in sections of rebar. There's little tabs here. Actually, I think there's a tab here and a tab here, 2 per section. We'll be driving rebar into the ground to help keep these things stabilized. They are in concrete, but you are running a car over them. So we try to get it as solid as we can, so you never have a problem with it. Let's see if we can get back to this area. So we will be creating a French drain that runs along this area. It will be probably 16 or 18 inches wide, about a foot deep, with stone, and that will allow all water that is coming in this direction or coming from the hard surface in this direction or down, is going to collect in there, drop into a pipe, and head over to the sump pump, which we're going to put right here. And this will be the same up here as well. We're starting this trench all the way down up at the top here, and we'll be collecting water. So this will collect a lot of water. I think it'll collect everything that doesn't run this way, which is where a lot of it runs now, down to the street, and that's a great thing. So sump pump. Let me see if I can catch it from this angle. We will be putting a sump pump in here. We discussed the need for electricity. That's a little bit of an added expense for you. This will be a sump basin. We'll put a pump in there, check valve, some piping, and we will run that water into trying to think of which of you gave us the best. We will run that water through a trench here, out to this area, and then down through your front yard. And it's a smaller pipe. Typically in drainage, we use 4-inch pipe because we want gravity flow. We need that extra space. We're going to be pumping this water out, so we use something like 1 1/4-inch pipe. So if we go back to the backyard area, we needed a way to capture all the water coming down here. So on this section, what we're going to do is we're going to pull up all of this flagstone. We're going to flip it up and keep it close by. And then we're going to dig out a drain area that runs the entire length of what was the walkway. We're going to make it a V-shaped trench. Down in the bottom of the V, we're going to line the trench with filter fabric. We're going to put perforated pipe down in the bottom and then fill it with drain stone. And then we're going to put the stepping stones back on top. So all the water that comes into this area will drop through the stone, into the pipe and out, and it will connect with our sump pump, which will be the central hub of our system. So again, if you can picture, once it gets that pipe will come down here in this direction and go into our sump pump and be pumped out. So that's the plan. That is what the proposal is based on. I did some number crunching, and I feel like this is going to be the best combination to move the volume of water that you would get in the entire watershed of your yard and your neighbor's yards. That's where the water's coming from. Plus, when we fill in those sinkholes, we're going to increase the water that's going to come down towards your house, because they're no longer going to sit in there like little collection vessels. And I think that's enough. This is probably the longest video I've done. It's a pretty complicated job. So feel free to get in touch with me with any questions that you have. I appreciated looking at it. You were very helpful with all your information. I know we bounced a lot of ideas back and forth. Go ahead and view the proposal. Digest all this information. I know you said you had a friend who was an engineer to send it to. Feel free to have him call me if he has any questions. And appreciate the opportunity to look at all of this, and I hope to hear from you soon. Thank you.